Hey there, what's up? I'm Rafael de Furia, back at it again on another Friday night, and this week, I realized last week was a little bit different than what I normally do here on this channel, so let's get back to something maybe a little bit more normal. There have been things during lockdown here in Italy that I feel I've learned about myself and my situation, who I am, what I am, and there are those things that I would like to take from this time in lockdown and continue them into the rest of my life here in Italy, and just things that I feel like I've learned about myself, what's important, who's important, and what I need and don't need in my life. But just before we get too much deeper into this video, if you would like to see more content like this about moving to Italy, Italian dual citizenship, and living life abroad, please be sure to subscribe with that notification bell turned on. And if you could also give this video a like and share it with your friends, that would definitely help the channel. And of course, a huge thanks to the patrons who make videos like this possible. During this time here in lockdown, I've come to the realization that I haven't probably taken as much time for myself as I maybe need. For the past 8 years plus, it has basically, I've just been pushing myself to just go, and not stop. And there are certain things in my life that have fallen to the wayside, by the wayside, however you phrase it in English. And that work for me was always something that came first. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to come here to Italy, was to kind of slow down a little bit. But even once coming here to Italy, even if I wasn't getting paid for the work or working on my own project, I always was making sure that I'm doing something. And because for me personally, that's been very important, that regardless, that I'm always trying to at least do something. But of course, that's come to the detriment of other things in my life. When I was 18 or 19, I slipped and fell and broke my hand. And music before that was a huge part of my life. I had gone to a jazz music school just before that period, before that time in my life where I had this broken hand, and that kept me from being able to continue playing music. And music was so important to me. It was always so important to me who I am. It's beyond just something that I enjoy. An emotional release is, it's any way I explain it, it's going to sound weird and strange. But it was always something that was a part of me and a part of my life. But after I broke my hand, I let that fly away. I mean, also for a while, it hurt to play music. It hurt to hold the instruments. And so I've been taking that time to get back into something that was, I guess you could say, my first love, my first thing that I've been passionate about my whole life. Even, I'm not saying I'm any good or I'm this or that, but I'm just saying that it was something that was always important to me, that I always thought would be more a part of my life. Even thinking about back to 17, 18 years old, like if I thought, what do I want to do with my life? What would I imagine my life to be in 10 years? I knew music would be somewhere at the center of that. And now being here, it's something I let go, and I'm really disappointed that I did. It was something that I should have taken a lot more time for. But also taking time to slow down was something that I really haven't been doing. And during this lockdown, I've had that opportunity and have forced myself to do that, to take the time to maybe just take time to do nothing, because there is something within nothing. There's a value to that nothingness sometimes, to just kind of chill. Even the other day, it was raining here. It just rained here for 20 minutes. Like all of a sudden it was just pouring rain. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to get up, I'm going to go look out the window and see what's going on. I ended up spending 20 minutes, a half an hour at my window just watching the rain fall. It was a very nice, freeing experience, just kind of to be able to enjoy something so simple like that. Instead of spending my time in front of a screen, to spend my time looking at something outside in the light and just natural. And being stuck at home has made me realize how much, even though I'm very much an at-home person, like a person who enjoys the great indoors and staying at home, taking time to enjoy some of the beauty of outside is also important. I don't know how long it's been, maybe a week or so now, that there's been this comet that's been flying by, and you can kind of see it with the naked eye. And I've been watching it kind of travel across the sky, just kind of going to the window every couple of hours or so, and like watching it kind of float by, and not float by, but just kind of do its thing in the sky. So for me personally, I feel like it's been a very interesting lesson, so to speak, without getting it to sound too hippy dippy out there. It's been one of these things that I've felt has allowed me to learn about myself, my life, who I am, what I am, and how I would maybe like to continue some of these things even going forward. Because even there's certain things though that I have to say I really don't mind about this lockdown, is that for Americans especially, we appreciate our kind of personal space. That's very much a term I remember growing up hearing, especially in school, personal space. It's very much a part of this Americanness to have space. But once you get to Europe and outside of North America, this sense of personal space is much, much smaller, and people get much closer, and just it's something that can be uncomfortable for many North Americans. And so during this time, it's kind of been like, oh, wow, I don't have people like bunching around me all the time when I'm waiting in line. Not that I'm waiting in line so much during this time, but going to get vegetables at the grocery store, that's turned into something that I've actually enjoyed. Going to the greengrocers here in Italy, something that I find enjoyable. It's a random little, just nothing thing, just going grocery shopping, but it's something I've grown to enjoy here. And there's one particular greengrocer on the main street here in Rovigo where I live, and they have a really nice couple who runs it. And now, because of the situation, you can't actually go into the store anymore. I actually posted a picture of this on my Instagram. They have this barrier of like 2 vegetable crates stacked on top of each other at the front door, so that you shouldn't come in, kind of saying, hey, stay outside, we'll bring stuff to you. And so it's been really nice to be able to get that kind of vegetable shopping done, but be out on a nice spring day and just enjoy the fresh air through a mask. But to be able to take that time to kind of slow down and enjoy a little bit more. Granted, I'm not there choosing the vegetables that I like, but this place in particular, I trust them. And so that's also been something that I kind of do like, because this particular place and a lot of stores here in general are much smaller, a little bit more cramped, especially being a North American, than what may be comfortable for where we come from. But then also there's a rotisserie chicken place here in town, and they have the same kind of thing set up where you wait by the door and you tell them you want a chicken, they come out to you, and you're there, you're outside on a nice, beautiful day waiting for some chicken. And I know there's a liquor store here that does it too. I haven't gone there. I don't usually keep liquor in the house, but again, it's about this slowing down in this world where we are so surrounded by a 24-hour news cycle, the internet just speeding things up so much that I feel like as a race, as the human race, we're forgetting about the importance of taking time and putting a little bit more into something rather than just that instant gratification. Okay, granted, don't get me wrong though, I have nothing wrong with a nice, easy, simple ramen meal that just add water and you're done. But at the same time, to enjoy life around you, to take that time to take things in, like, because I have been stuck at home the few times that I have gone out, I've been taking that in more, taking advantage of that situation of being able to get out and not just be stuck in my home. That's actually one thing that has been very interesting to see from the United States, that you guys are in lockdown over there, but by comparison to what we've been in here in Italy, it's very different, that you guys have still had freedoms to go drive in your car. I've heard about even people being able to travel across country driving by car, granted, but still. So it's been interesting to see kind of the different takes on that situation. And look, even with all of what I've said, even though the situation may be a little bit more difficult from that perspective of feeling like I don't want to say trapped, but trapped at home because you need to stay there. It's been something that I'm still grateful to be here in Italy rather than anywhere else. Even if you look at Germany, for example, they lightened their restrictions and their numbers started rising again. But here in Italy, they've been taking things very slow. So let's see. At this point, it's still too early to tell what's going to happen and how things are going to happen. But also one of the other little things that has been lightening up recently is that now here in the Veneto region, from what I've been hearing, is that restrictions have lightened up to the point where a person can go bring flowers from a flower store to a friend. Freedom never smelled so sweet. But yeah, that one kind of struck me as like a little odd and funny, but it's important to take that time to stop and smell the roses. That's been the major thing from this lockdown that I feel like I've been learning and forcing myself to learn and forcing myself to do more than I normally would. Normally I would just be doing, but I'm taking more time and like not looking at my phone as much, not getting on the internet as much, not doing some of these things. But at the same time, I'm taking time to do even stupid things that I would never take time to do, like binge watch television shows or watch a television show to begin with. It's not something that I normally do, but this past week I found this one show that I fell in love with, and I was so mad when I got to the end because there's only 24 episodes divided over 2 seasons, and the 3rd season has been put on hold because of the current situation. They can't go back into production, so it's been nice to take that time and just veg out. It's something that I told myself that I would do. It's something that I told myself I would take more time for, to do nothing, to take time and learn to play music better, to take time and practice to play music better, and to take the time that I haven't been taking over the past years. It's now that opportunity that I feel as though that I'm trying to take that advantage of that I haven't been able to. And I think each person has something for themselves. I'm not going to be one of these people that says everything happens for a reason, but sometimes I like to at least hope that there's a reason for something, as horrible of a situation as it may be. But even if there's not a reason, that you can at least learn something from a difficult moment. If something is not at least learned, then it almost seems like an opportunity wasted. And so for me, that's what I feel like I've come away with. And I know I'm getting preachy here, but I think it's important for each of us to try and take something from each difficult situation that we go through and try to learn something from it, to better yourself from it. Because at least if you go through something difficult, to go through something horrible, then maybe at least at the end you'll have something to show for it and maybe better yourself in the long run. Granted, I'm generalizing here, and there are certain things that are absolutely dark and absolutely disgusting and horrible in life that you can't come away from. But for those of us who are stuck at home, there are worse things in life, and there are things that we can do to take from this time when we find this new sense of what normal may look like, because we are already too far deep into this for things to look normal anytime soon. We're past that point of no return. Financially, millions and millions of people are out of work right now and can't work, can't do anything. And then there are the millions and millions of people who thankfully are able to work and help the rest of us be able to continue from day to day. Of course, every aspect of life has been disrupted, everything from manufacturing to something simple such as entertainment. Like I was just saying before, I think the entertainment field over the next year or two is going to be going through a little bit of a dry spell, and like good content being made. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how even entertainment starts looking. And is it going to be more independent people just kind of doing their thing, kind of like this, sitting in a place in their home and just broadcasting something to the world that maybe might get seen? Or how's that going to look? That's something I've been very curious about, especially as somebody who worked in video production. So even from that perspective, like how is that field going to start learning to do something new in that way? I think it's going to be interesting to see, because that's kind of been this direction that things have been going more towards online media for a long time anyway. But that's almost artificially made things progress even further, faster. So that's something I'm definitely curious about, and curious to see what may or may not happen. I'm like this, and I'm sure there are plenty of other people out there that even if things opened right back up tomorrow, that I'm not going to be rushing out anytime soon, at least not more than I have to. And so I wonder how things are going to start looking over the next 6 months or so, and longer, because even 6 months is a very short period of time in the scheme of things, and just how life will change. And because life has already changed, but what will be the evolution of that change? What will come from that change? How will things go on the micro, macro level, on the individual level, community level, national, global levels? It's going to be very interesting to see how we come out of this, because this is a situation like we've never been through as a human race before. Anyway, this is just some of the stuff that I've been thinking about and wanted to put into video form. I know it's kind of all over the place, and maybe not the usual video that I do talking about life here in Italy, but it is about life here in Italy and what I'm experiencing right now. Normally, I don't go into these subjects about more my personal life, my thoughts about things like this. Normally it's much more general about here in Italy and things in general, but this is just what's been on my mind lately. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Thank you to those of you who are patrons who are helping to make these videos possible. It really makes a huge difference in my ability to be able to continue doing this during this time and to get by. So thank you all so much on Patreon for your help. So of course, as always, thank you to the patrons. And of course, as always, I am Rafael di Furia, aka Rafi D, and I will see you all next time. Later.